Well, you know, we've seen a lot of studies over the last few years that, that suggest that the market for housing is changing. That's primarily due to the fact that we've got this big demographic shift going on right now. Some people call it the Great Convergence. On the one hand, you've got the second largest demographic group in the country, in the history of this country, the baby boomers, and you've got the largest demographic group in the history of this country, the Y generation. And a lot of analysts think that they're looking for a different sort of housing than their parents, something probably a little bit smaller, something that's not as expensive. Looks like their income's going to be constrained more than other generations in years to come. So the National Association of Realtors and other firms have done studies on the national level that indicated that these demographic shifts and consumer preference issues and economic issues are tending to change the market to something that's more urban, that's smaller scale. So we wanted to see if that sort of thing holds true in our part of the country. So we commissioned a study by a firm that does this sort of analysis for 6 communities up here in the Northern Rockies in western Colorado.
So we looked at 6 communities in our region. We looked at Boise, Idaho, and Teton County, Idaho, Bozeman, Montana, and in Colorado we looked at Buena Vista and Eagle and Carbondale.
So our study was of 2 parts, really. One, we looked at the past and current housing markets in those 6 communities. We also did a survey where we surveyed residents and homeowners of different types of neighborhoods, conventional and this newer type of housing, to determine their attitudes. What are they looking for? What do they want out of their neighborhood?
So we did find a slightly different demand for housing that we've seen in the past in our region, which mirrors the trends that we've seen nationwide. So people are really looking at the neighborhood that the house is in when they're buying a new home. And another key thing that we found was that there is a price premium for these types of neighborhoods that are in these walkable areas and that are close to businesses and schools. And most of the communities that we looked at, we found that homebuyers are willing to pay a little bit more for these types of neighborhoods.
And then the surveys found that one concept has come really important, has come through again and again and again, and that's the notion of walkability. That's that people really want to be able to leave their house and not have to get in their car and walk to destinations. So another concept that was uncovered in this study was the issue of trade-offs. And we found that people really still do want their detached single-family home with a yard, all that. Overwhelmingly, we found that. And that people do want their space and privacy. But we also found that people are willing to give up some of that space and privacy, some of that size of the home, some of that lot size, in order to be more connected to the rest of the neighborhood. In order to live in a walkable neighborhood, they're willing to make that trade-off. It's a major part of what we found. So communities need to understand that the world is changing and the housing markets are changing, and they need to provide choice. Developers, the builders provide choice and meet this new type of demand. And same with the local government, to lower constraints so that all sorts of housing can be built.
So it matters to the development community, to the real estate community, to be able to provide that, to be able to meet that demand to those people that want that product.
So this report is called Reset, and it can be found at our new website that we just launched, communitybuilders.net.